Just walk away, idiot. Single dad rescued a drunk CEO, her morning words shook him. Rain hammered against the cracked windshield as Marcus pulled his beat-up Toyota into the grocery store parking lot. It was nearly midnight, and his daughter Emma needed medicine. That's when he saw her, a woman in an expensive suit, stumbling between cars, rain-soaked and clearly intoxicated. Most people would have looked away. Marcus almost did. But something in the way she swayed near the busy street made him stop. He didn't know that helping this stranger would change everything he thought he knew about success, struggle, and the invisible threads that connect us all. What happened the next morning would shake him to his core and remind him why kindness is never wasted, even when it costs us something we can barely afford to give. If stories like this inspire you to believe in the goodness of people, please subscribe to Heartfelt Moments, hit that like button, and share in the comments a time when a small act of kindness made a big difference in your life. Your stories matter, and this community is built on them. Now, let me tell you what happened to Marcus. Marcus Chen was exhausted. Between his night shifts at the warehouse and taking care of 8-year-old Emma on his own, sleep was a luxury he couldn't afford. His ex-wife had left 2 years ago, and since then, every day felt like running uphill. But he kept going because Emma's smile made every struggle worth it. That night, Emma had a fever. Marcus had rushed out to get children's Tylenol, his mind focused on getting home quickly. But when he spotted the woman stumbling in the parking lot, something stopped him. She was maybe in her 40s, wearing what looked like a designer suit now plastered to her body by the rain. Her expensive heels were in her hand, and she was barefoot on the cold asphalt. "Ma'am? Are you okay?" Marcus called out, approaching carefully. She turned, her eyes unfocused. "Just walk away, idiot," she slurred. "I don't need your help." Marcus should have listened. He had his own problems. Emma was waiting. But he'd been raised by a grandmother who taught him that character is what you do when no one's watching, when helping is inconvenient, when the person doesn't even want your kindness. "I can't do that," he said gently. "Let me at least call someone for you." She laughed bitterly and stumbled. Marcus caught her elbow before she fell. "There's no one to call," she mumbled. "No one at all." He glanced at his watch. Every minute mattered, but he couldn't leave her here. "Okay, let me get you somewhere safe." "Where do you live?" After some confused directions, Marcus helped her into his car. She passed out almost immediately. He found her address on her driver's license, the Riverside Towers, the most expensive apartment building in the city. Of course. The drive took 40 minutes. The doorman at her building looked shocked but helped Marcus get her to her penthouse apartment. Marcus made sure she was on her side on the couch, left a glass of water and aspirin on the coffee table, and quietly left. He didn't take anything, didn't snoop, didn't expect gratitude. He just helped because it was right. By the time Marcus got home with the medicine, it was past 1 in the morning. Emma's fever broke by dawn, and Marcus dragged himself through another exhausting day. 3 days later, Marcus was at work when his supervisor called him to the office. His heart sank. In his experience, unexpected office visits meant bad news. But waiting there wasn't his supervisor. It was her. The woman from the parking lot. She looked completely different, composed, powerful, wearing a crisp navy suit, her hair pulled back professionally. Next to her stood his supervisor and someone Marcus didn't recognize in an expensive suit. "Marcus Chen?" she asked, though her eyes said she already knew. "Yes, ma'am," he stammered. She extended her hand. "I'm Jennifer Walsh. I'm the CEO of Walsh Industries. Your company is one of our contractors." She paused, and Marcus saw her eyes were glassy. 3 nights ago, I'd just come from my mother's funeral. I was in the worst moment of my life, and I handled it terribly. I got drunk, drove to a random parking lot, and sat in my car hating myself and the world. Marcus stood frozen, unsure what to say. "You found me at my absolute lowest," she continued, her voice cracking slightly. "I was horrible to you. I called you an idiot. I told you to walk away. And you know what you did? You stayed anyway. You made sure I got home safe. You didn't take advantage. You didn't ask for anything. You just helped. She wiped her eye quickly. I've spent my whole career thinking success meant being the toughest person in the room, never showing weakness, never needing anyone. That night, I needed help desperately, and a stranger with every reason to ignore me chose kindness instead. Jennifer looked at the man in the suit. This is David Kim, HR Director for Walsh Industries. Marcus, we'd like to offer you a position in our logistics management program. Full benefits, tuition assistance if you want to continue your education, and a salary that will let you actually spend time with your daughter. Marcus couldn't speak. His eyes burned with tears. You rescued me when I didn't deserve it, Jennifer said softly. Let me give you something in return. Not as payment, you can't pay for kindness. But because you reminded me what really matters, and I want to be someone who passes that forward. 6 months later, Marcus and Emma moved into a modest but comfortable apartment. He was thriving in his new role, and Emma's teacher said she'd never seen a child flourish like that. But what Marcus treasured most was the lesson he'd already known but now lived fully: kindness is never wasted, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's rejected, even when you're barely holding on yourself. Because sometimes, the person who needs rescuing and the person doing the rescuing both find something they didn't know they were looking for. Sometimes kindness returns in unexpected ways. And sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do is simply stay when everything tells us to walk away. What small act of kindness could you offer today? You never know whose life you might change, including your own.